Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th event of the Trio Marble Championship Games. It is the Slapshot Shootout. This event will test the accuracy of our teams as they attempt to shoot slapshots, the marbles acting as the pucks, as close to a center target as possible. Each team will get one run with all three of their marbles, and the score will be based on the combined accuracy of their three team members. The team with the best score wins. So it's a test of accuracy and also a test of teamwork, as we see the course very similar to some we've seen in the past. The goal, of course, is to get as far and as straight as possible, kind of similar to balancing, but there's nothing to balance on. You're mainly just trying to stay as close to the middle as possible. If you end in that blue zone, you will get the maximum amount of points. The standings are not very close up top, but overall they're pretty stratified. Just ignore the bottom few and the Twilight Tailors up top, and everybody else is fairly close. The gap from, I think that's at 11th to 2nd place, is just 20 points, so a gold medal could put the 11th place Red Rogues up into the podium if the rest of the scores allowed it. Not a great example run for the first two marbles, but that's what you want to see for that third one. Just down the center. So that blue section is 7 points, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down to 0 if you were to miss. So overall consistency is what's going to win you the game here. It's better to get 3 15s than 2 7s and a miss. The Freezeburns, the first team to go. They were high in the standings, but have since fallen off a slight portion. That was a good third marble there because they already knew their second marble, or I guess that was the first one to land possibly. No, it was the second one to land, who curled down there. They knew they could use that as kind of insurance because if they were to make contact at all, they would bounce inwards. And so it will be 15, a 6, a 5, and a 4 for the Freezeburns. Now the Polar Panthers, the hosting team, up second. They've seen what they need to do. Will they be able to match it? Or score higher? The highest score possible is a 21. Will not be matched by the Polar Panthers, who lose one, maybe two up top. They will lose both. And this is now in contention for potentially last place overall. Not a good run there. The first marble looked not even particularly good, but it looked feasible for them to at least maybe get a top half score. Second one comes in, and that eliminates the possibility. Third one comes in to add insult to injury. And the Polar Panthers now can no longer win or potentially even place top 10 in this event. We'll have to see where things work out, but not the score they were hoping for. Considering they're remaining competitive, they're sitting in 6th place in the standings. That's not going to be the case after this one. Scientists, disappointment in the last event. They won it in the qualifiers, come to the main tournament, and only place 14th, I believe it was. So not what they wanted to see. And they almost share the same fate as the Polar Panthers. They will lose that second one. Will they lose a third? They will. So they've managed to score an even worse score than the Polar Panthers. And they are sitting down there in, I believe, 15th in the standings. This is not what they wanted. You're looking at a 15th or 16th overall in the event now. That does open the door for the Plasma Stripes, who are down in last by a solid margin, to hopefully close that gap. Plasma Stripes have not had much to be happy about over the course of their existence as a team. Scientists can at least look at a podium in the qualifiers and say that was a success for them, but really, that's not where you want a podium. You want a podium in the main tournament. Here come the Electrolytes with a not particularly strong first two marbles or first three marbles, but they all land on the board, and that might be enough to end up in the top half. As we've seen so far, even with the example run, it looks more common than not that marbles are falling off. And so really, if you get a 1 or a 2, better than nothing is the mindset these teams are going to go with. That's 9 and enough for 2nd out of 4. And that score is not particularly good. So the field is wide open as we head into these next few marbles. Can you make a statement? Hummingbirds need to make one here. They were sitting in 2nd place before the last event, performed very poorly. And now they are down in 3rd. Will not make a good run here with that first marble. Even if the next two finish well, they could still finish potentially higher up than somebody that will be higher than the Polar Panthers, for example. But to throw it away on the first attempt, not what they had hoped for. Hummingbirds, podiumed last season, are still on the podium, so they are a successful franchise. But for events like these where you've never really seen anything, there's no strategy really going into this. You expect them to be one of the teams to step up. You expect them, Wolf Warriors, Lilac Lightning, even now the Twilight Tailors, you expect them to step up. Hummingbirds could not do so. Winfinity, will they be the team to step up? We have not seen a particularly good score yet. Even the first score of 14 looks beatable. A good first marble. Can they hold on? They will lose a second one up top. And what would have been a good run, potentially enough for first out of these first few runs, gets thrown away because that second marble completely misses and could not follow up what the first marble did. This still might be enough, despite all that, for second place so far. It will be. Second of 6 with a 9 overall. They win the tiebreaker off of, I believe, closeness to the middle. Or they may stay tied. I'm not sure how exactly the scoring works here. We'll find out when we see the halfway update. Plasma Stripes. They would love to close the gap up on the Scientists. Can they do so here? Could they perhaps meddle with the field being so open? It's an optimistic idea, but it doesn't seem too far-fetched. And with 2 finishers, oh, that third one just comes through and ruins any chance they had at a good performance, but perhaps they will be enough for maybe, I guess, low single digits. You're looking at maybe a 9th or 10th even, just outside the single digits. And they would take that here. That's the kind of season it's been for the Plasma Stripes. They would see a 10th place performance as a success. And it's 4th of 7 with only 7 points. So once again, just to reiterate, the field is wide open. Just nobody has participated in this event before. Nobody knows how to handle it. The Ferocious Flames, could they capitalize? They finish on the board. That's a start. As I say that, they miss one up top. And then at the bottom as well. So that's, I believe, the worst score we've seen. I may be mistaken. There could be a tie for the worst score with, I believe, the Scientists. But the more marbles go, the more we see that this event is completely wide open, and even a score of 16 overall, perhaps, could be enough for a win. The best score we've seen today is the first run, which was 15. 21 is the max, so they're actually slightly past 2/3 of the potential best score. Ferocious Flames only managed to score 2 points. And as we head towards the second half, look how wide open the field is. Everybody else in single digits, only the Freeze Burns with 15, and at that point, this might be enough for them to podium, even potentially get a gold medal. That's how open the field is right now. Team Antimatter, could they make a difference? And they just couldn't hold on up top, or at the bottom. It was much closer up top, however. They at least get a finisher, so they will not be placing last. Not to say that somebody is going to miss all 3, but it looks like a possibility. However, their single marble that landed did place better than the Ferocious Flames and I believe the Scientists. So there's that, at least. For consolation, they missed the first 2. If the third one missed, it would have been catastrophic. But they do hold on. It's enough for 7th out of 9. 3 points. A single team out of the first 9 reached double digits. Could the Red Rogues do so here? At this point, any team could really come in with a mediocre score and medal. They curve back in. Could they do it again? They do, but it's not enough, and one right down the center just kind of skews off to the side. That'll be, what, 7 points, 8 points maybe? So they saw that first marble just curve back in. They tried to replicate it with their second. Weren't able to do so. Or maybe even trying to push that first marble a little bit further in because they had not fully settled on the grid. It would not work, though. They are still 4th of 10 with a score of 8. Just to reiterate, a single team has made it into the double digits. Everybody so far. Disappointing outside of the Freeze Burns. It might be possible at this point to medal with 9 points. That's what we're looking at right now. Wolf Warriors, could they make a difference here? One up top. Gone. Even at this point, you could get 2 7s and you'd have the second best score, but they miss all 3. As I mentioned as a possibility earlier, it actually comes true, and the Wolf Warriors are in dead last in this event so far. And they will be at least tied for it, no matter what happens now. There's, I believe, 4 runners left to go. It might be 5. Among that group, the Lilac Lightning are in there. The Twilight Tailors are in there. The Camos are in there. A very poor performance for the Wolf Warriors, considering the other teams that are left to go. Here come the championship-leading Twilight Tailors. If they finish with a 10, I wouldn't be surprised. They are a team that looks like they could take on just about any challenge and succeed. But maybe I was mistaken. They missed their first one. The next two come and both finish. So that will be enough for probably top half at this point. If you get two finishers, you're in top half conversations. But I think that first marble just couldn't get it done. And that kind of hurt the morale of the second two, who dropped really close to each other, I guess trying to both go at the same time. Just for support there. It's 8th and enough for 4th place, a tie for 4th at that. And it's 4 teams left to go. Again, among them, the Lilac Lightning. The Camos also in that group. They will be the 13th team to go. And potentially the second team to hit double digits. Can they? They finish. 2 finishers. Oh, they will not get 2 finishers. Actually, they will. But it'll come on that third marble. That second one looked like it was going to. It looked very close there. But that first marble, that's a good second or third marble. That's a good supporting marble. But if your leading scorer is only managing 4 or 5, that's not enough to win or podium. And they will be tied for 6th. Maybe that's an individual 6. Lilac Lightning now. 3 teams to go. Lilac Lightning are one of them. And they would love to capitalize here. The field is wide open. Right down the center. Nice and slow for them. Can they curl back in? They cannot. But a second marble. This one, dead center. And that's a podium for them. At least tentatively right now. With a 7 and a 6, that's 13. And second place by a wide margin. If they just got a finisher for 1 or 2 points, they could be the leaders right now. The Freezeburns stay up top by a margin of 2, but the gap down to third place is now 4 points. Lilac Lightning hoping to finish on the podium, and at this rate, it looks incredibly likely. The Magmatics, who had a good event last time around, they got second in the ice block pushing. Up until then, they were not having a great season at all. Can they carry on the momentum? Send one fast up top and on the bottom. The momentum will not be carried over, but if they can get a 7 here, it will not happen. They will be tied for last with the Wolf Warriors. Unbelievable performances here today. Not what I expected at all from these teams, and I think these teams would agree with me. They did not expect this from themselves. Only 2 teams, really, with anything to be happy for at this rate. I guess whoever's sitting in third place now can be happy at least that they podium. But only 9 points. It would not be a very deserved podium. Everyone going wide on this run. Second time it's happened. More marbles are finishing off of the grid than on the grid. The Sparkling Stars, the last team to go. The field, wide open for them. They won the last event. Could they make it 2 in a row? 2 enter early, and our answer will be no. They will not win, but they could still podium. They get a second finisher, and it will be enough for at least third place. I think it is third place, with a score of, it looks like to be 12, unless they've somehow tied the Lilac Lightning, but I don't think it's enough. So the first run of the day, the Freezeburns, will be enough to hold on for first place in the event. I don't think that's ever happened in the TMC. This is the first time this event's ever been run. On the first heat of the first running, the Freezeburns come out with a gold medal over the Lilac Lightning and the Sparkling Stars. Congratulations to those 3. Everybody else tried their hardest with Infinity Electrolytes with respectable scores. Red Rose, look back on that. That 8 is higher than the rest of the field, but only 3 made double digits and only 3 teams will be on the podium. So mathematically, it was impossible for the Twilight Tailors to fall to first place after this event. They are unsurprisingly in first. The gap now only 24 points. The Sparkling Stars hang on to second place. Lilac Lightning up in the top 3. Freezeburns jump 5 teams into the top 4, and the Hummingbirds fall to 5th with Infinity up in the top 6. That doesn't happen very often. We will catch you in the next event, the Icicle Plinko Race.